Okay, I want you to think about something. It's one of the oldest and most mind-bending questions in all of philosophy. And honestly, it's a puzzle that seems pretty simple on the surface, but the deeper you dig, the more it challenges, well, everything you think you know about what it means to be you.
So picture this. You've got a famous historic ship, a real monument. To preserve it, every single time a plank of wood starts to rot, you replace it with a brand new, identical one. And this goes on for decades. Until, eventually, a day comes when not a single original plank is left. Every single piece has been swapped out. So here it is, the question that has been tying thinkers in knots for millennia. Is it still the same ship? But look, this paradox isn't really about a ship, is it? It forces us to ask what makes anything the same thing over time. And even more importantly, what makes you, you? This isn't some dusty old riddle. It's a very real debate happening right now in fields like artificial intelligence and human biology. So let's start where it all began, with the original paradox itself. The story gets its name from Theseus, the mythical founder king of Athens. The legend goes that after his incredible journey, the people of Athens wanted to preserve his ship as a memorial, so they kept it in their harbor for hundreds and hundreds of years as a tribute. Of course, over that much time, the wooden planks started to decay. So, to keep the ship looking like itself, they replaced each old, rotting plank with a fresh new one. Now, the key detail here, and this is super important, is that it was a gradual process. The ship was never taken apart all at once, it was just in this constant state of repair. Okay, now fast forward a few centuries because the philosopher Thomas Hobbes comes along and adds this brilliant, maddening twist. He asks, what if somebody had been collecting all those old discarded planks? And what if they used those original parts to build a second ship? Now all of a sudden you have two. So which one is the real Ship of Theseus? The one in the harbor that's been continuously repaired, or the one rebuilt from all the original pieces? This whole mess actually connects to an even older philosophical idea about change, the flowing river. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously said this. You've probably heard it. It's such a powerful and poetic way to think about the nature of constant change. But here's the subtle genius of what he was saying. Heraclitus wasn't just saying, hey, everything changes. He was pointing out this amazing duality. The water, the stuff of the river, is always new, always different from moment to moment. But the river, the pattern, the form, the path it carves, that stays the same. The constant change is what makes it a river. And this brings us right to the core of the whole problem. We have two competing ideas of what identity even is. Is it all about the physical stuff, the actual material? Or is it about the structure, the pattern that holds up over time? That question is everything. Okay, let's make this personal. Because honestly, this was never really about ancient ships or rivers. It's about you. Think about it. The atoms that make you up right now are not the same atoms you were born with. Your body is this incredible biological machine in a state of constant renewal. Over the course of a few years, most of your cells get replaced. Physically, materially, you are not the same person you were a decade ago. So, if your physical matter completely changes, and your memories get fuzzy and rewritten, and your personality evolves, what on earth connects the you of today to the you of the past? What is that continuous thread that makes you, you? One of the most powerful modern answers to this comes from psychology. It's this idea called narrative identity. The theory suggests that what makes you the same person over time isn't yourselves or even some fixed personality. It's the evolving story you tell yourself about yourself. It's like a personal myth with a past, a present, and an imagined future that just weaves all those changes into one coherent person. Now let's jump to today, to the world of technology, because this is where the paradox gets really, really weird. Imagine a super complex artificial intelligence. It might be constantly updating its own code, right? Swapping out old modules for new, more efficient ones. So what happens if it eventually replaces every single line of its original code? Is it still the same program, the same intelligence? And here's where technology totally breaks the original thought experiment. You can't perfectly duplicate a wooden ship. But software? Oh, you can copy that bit for bit, an infinite number of times. And that introduces a problem the ancient Greeks couldn't have even imagined. This leads us straight into a classic sci-fi dilemma that, let's be honest, is feeling less and less like fiction every day. If you could upload your consciousness to a machine, a perfect copy of every thought, every memory, every feeling, which one is the real you? The original biological you? The new digital one? Or are you somehow both? So after going down this entire rabbit hole, what are the actual answers? Well, philosophers have generally landed on three main ways to think about identity.
You see, the paradox has survived for thousands of years because it's not a simple riddle you can just solve. It's a tool. It's a lens that forces us to really look at our own deep-seated assumptions about what it means for anything or anyone to last through time. Broadly speaking, the answers fall into three big camps. First up, you've got material identity, the idea that an object is its original stuff, period. Then there's structural identity, the view that identity is all about the form, the pattern, the function. And finally, there's a kind of middle ground, continuity identity, which says that as long as the change is gradual and there's an unbroken history, the identity holds. Let's just quickly see how these play out. For the ship, a materialist says the pile of old planks is the real one. A structuralist points to the restored ship in the harbor. And a continuity theorist agrees, saying the restored ship is real because of its unbroken history. For the river, a materialist sees only new water, but a structuralist sees the same river form. And what about you? A strict materialist might say you are literally a new person every few years. A structuralist would point to your narrative story. And a continuity theorist would say it's your unbroken stream of consciousness that makes you, you.
And so we end right back where we started. There is no single, easy answer here. Maybe identity isn't some fixed, solid thing at all. Maybe it's just a mix of all these ideas, the matter we're made of, the patterns we hold, and the stories we tell ourselves to make sense of a world that is always, always changing. The final question, then, isn't about the ship. It's about you.